Deputy Opposition Leader Sussan Ley has issued a stark warning to Australians, arguing that they can't afford another 3 years of an Albanese-led Labor government. Her comments follow the Reserve Bank's decision to cut the official cash rate for the first time in over 4 years, lowering it by 25 basis points from 4.35% to 4.1%. While this cut offers some relief to mortgage holders, Ms. Ley insists it barely scratches the surface of the financial strain Australians have endured under Labor's leadership. "I know Aussies are doing it tough everywhere, and let's be real, the damage is already done," she told Sky News Australia. After 3 years of Labor, what's the point of the Albanese government? What have they actually achieved? Australians simply can't afford another 3 years of this. For homeowners, the rate cut translates to an average saving of around $100 a month, what many would call a drop in the ocean compared to the staggering $1,500 extra they've been forking out each month due to previous rate hikes. "Good morning from the great state of WA," she said. "I know Australians are feeling the pinch, and the reality is, the damage is already done. The average homeowner has shelled out an extra $50,000 since Labor took office just to keep up with their mortgage. That's money straight out of their pockets. And after 3 years of this, you have to ask, what has the Prime Minister actually done? What's been the point of the Albanese government?" Ms. Ley also pointed to the increasing number of small businesses struggling to survive, describing the current economic conditions as a small business recession on top of a household recession. "Insolvency statistics don't lie. I keep an eye on them, and unfortunately, they are not getting better, they are getting worse," she said. "Since Labor came to power, we've seen 28,000 small businesses go under, and they haven't been replaced by new ones. It's a dire situation. The backbone of our economy is crumbling, and people are feeling it in their day-to-day lives." While official figures show no technical recession, Ms. Ley dismissed that argument, insisting that wage increases, low unemployment, and declining inflation haven't translated to meaningful relief for everyday Australians. "There's talk of an early election, and I'd say Labor will be desperate to shift the narrative," she said. "But what are they going to brag about? That they've had 12 rate hikes and now just one small rate cut?" Meanwhile, the cost of living keeps climbing, and people aren't feeling any better off. She pointed to small businesses as the clearest example of how economic pressures are hitting home. "I was in a major food manufacturing plant in New South Wales just last week. They produce ingredients that go into a heap of products in Aussie pantries and freezers. Their energy bills have shot up by $60 million, she said. "They are literally buying energy minute by minute on the spot market, and the costs are absolutely eye-watering. And guess what? That cost gets passed straight on to consumers. That's why a simple grocery shop is breaking the bank for so many families right now." Ms. Ley went on to say that the economic strain isn't just limited to manufacturers. She also highlighted the struggles of independent supermarkets in Western Australia. "I was shown the energy bill of a supermarket owner here in WA, and it was enough to make your jaw drop," she said. Commentators can talk about statistics all they like, but when you're on the ground, talking to real people, the story is the same everywhere. Aussies are struggling, and they don't see any relief in sight. In response to recent polling that suggests many voters aren't convinced the coalition would have handled things any better, Ms. Ley insisted that action speaks louder than polls. "I don't get caught up in the polls, I never have," she said. "They change from state to state, from week to week. What we are focused on is actually talking to Australians and offering real solutions." She acknowledged that the coalition needs to sharpen its messaging but maintained that Labor's track record speaks for itself. "The bottom line is this: people don't feel better off. The cost of living crisis isn't some abstract idea. It's the reality for families, for small business owners, for retirees. And after 3 years, you have to ask, what has this government actually done to improve that?" Turning to international affairs, Ms. Ley was also asked about comments from former Prime Minister Tony Abbott, who suggested Australia should send peacekeepers to Ukraine. Mr. Abbott, who led the country when Malaysia Airlines flight MH17 was shot down by Russian forces in 2014, argued that Australia has a moral obligation to play a role in supporting Ukraine's defense. "Tony has always spoken with conviction and moral clarity on this issue," Ms. Ley said. "I remember MH17 like it was yesterday. 38 people who called Australia home lost their lives. It was a tragic moment in our history. But I'm not going to jump ahead of any international discussions happening right now. The US is leading the peace process, and we should always stand firm in upholding an international rules-based order. When pressed on whether a future coalition government would consider deploying peacekeepers if Ukraine requested assistance, Ms. Ley remained cautious. "There are a lot of ifs in that question, and I won't speculate at this point," she said. With the Albanese government under increasing pressure to prove it can ease the financial burden on Australians, the debate over economic management is only set to intensify. For now, Ms. Ley and the coalition are making one thing clear: Australians can't afford another 3 years of Labor. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. As always, I appreciate your support. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on the stories that matter. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.